Next down on the list, episode wise, you actually did the very next episode. You did Castrovala as well.
Yes, probably not straight afterwards. May have even been before. I don't have my schedule here, but that was transmitted afterwards. But I think I may have, recorded it out of order, perhaps.
Yes.
And yes, that was a nice one. That was Fiona Cummings was the director on that one, and that was in 82.
Yeah.
1982, and I had left the BBC, I think, by then, didn't I? Yeah, probably. It was transmitted in 82. I mean, when I recorded it, I was probably at my studio by then.
Wow.
Because I was carrying on. I did a couple of adventures outside the BBC. So, that was a Visitation as well. Was another one. Oh, no. Mordwyn.
Yeah, Mordwyn Undead and Frontios, is that right? I think I've seen it tweeted on that, yeah.
Yes, that is right. Yes, no, I mean, Castrovala and the Visitation were both done at the workshop.
Right, wow.
That. Yeah, I'm looking at these dates, and what I've got is transmission dates, so of course it doesn't relate to when I was actually doing them.
No, of course. It's
yeah.
I was going to say it was good from a viewer's standpoint, at least. This is what I think. It was very good to have the sound continuity between Logopolis and Castrovala, because especially when I was younger, I watched them back to back, and you could tell they were part of the same story, even though the main character had completely changed. You could just tell it was a continuation of that story, you know.
Yes, that's right, and I don't know if that was done deliberately or not. It may well have happened that way, but they were, great days. I mean, Peter Moffat was most wonderful a director to work with, very old school, very experienced, and had worked in drama series for years. I mean, before that, most of that sort of team had worked on those series about the country vet. All Creatures Great and Small.
That's the one.
A lot of Peter Davison came from that end of the thing. But Peter Moffat had worked in all kinds of wonderful shows before that, and he did work on things like I think Coronation Street, and those sorts of things. And originally, those things were live. They're actually really live. People running back. And and he said there was a period where they recorded it on tape, but they would not edit the tape because it was too expensive.
Yeah.
And he said, well, so what might happen was you do something live, and the set would collapse, or somebody dry up, and there'd be a sort of terrible kind of moment. And they were pretty good at covering things up. But, there's definitely something went badly wrong. And he said it was all right because you were in the gallery directing it. It went wrong. It was being transmitted. There's nothing you could do. And you got home, had a whiskey and thought, well, you win some, you lose some. He said, but then came that dreadful time when they were recording it on videotape, which they would not edit. Yeah. So you knew when you'd done that and come to the end and something ghastly had sort of gone wrong in the middle, that you had to wait 3 weeks before everybody would see this disaster going out. And he said that was a bit... it was much better when you could edit.
Yeah.
And of course, during the Doctor Who time, with all those things, they edited it very heavily. There's lots of editing going on, lots of visual effects and all that were coming in. Even though it was all done on mechanical machines, it was still getting there. I remember there was an interview that Peter Moffat did probably about 10 years ago now, and he said he was doing the five Doctors, the 20th anniversary special, and he said there were so many effects. I don't know what a green screen is. What is all of this? Bless him. He seemed like a lovely man. He really did. No, he was lovely, and I do remember him saying something similar once to that. He said, why can't we have the old-fashioned things like glass shots? And there is a thing called a glass shot where they paint something very ornate, like a ceiling or a cathedral or something, which they hold in front of a still, a locked off camera. And it looks to all the world in a studio as if you're in this marvelous sort of building. And it's a very simple effect.
Yeah.
There's a few of those around, because once again, going back to the Hitchhiker's Guide, there was a Starship Heart of Gold. No, it was one. Which spaceship? It was a spaceship, and you looked at the shot, and it was at the top. It was a huge spaceship at the top of a hill, perched just on the top, and it looked great. And the director said, "What do you think of that?" I said, "It's amazing. But how did you do that?" He said, "Well, we had a board, which we just set the camera up so we had the top of the mountain there." And then we had a board which was 4 foot in front of the camera, and that had the spaceship on. Yeah. It was lined up so it looked as though it was sitting on the top of the hill. It works, but you can't move the camera. Otherwise, it's given away.
It sounds like that's the inspiration. Amazing. It sounds like that's the inspiration for a new technology that they're trying out with some of the Star Wars Disney shows right now, where they're basically projecting sets, which sounds incredible. I don't know how that's going to look, but they're basically using images of set, let's say in Star Wars, you have sand planets like Tatooine and stuff like that. They're just going to project them in a studio, and it will just look like they're on location. That sounds really cool. Yes. I mean, rather than sort of superimposing them electronically, they'll project them. Yeah. I suppose that makes it easier for them to walk around and follow the actors and have everything in perspective. Absolutely. I hope it works out, because that'll be great. Tough for the lighting people, but I'm sure they'll work that out.